President Trump will address the UN General Assembly just a few hours from right now. He's expected to discuss Iran and nuclear sanctions. Ahead of the speech, the president tweeted this morning. Despite requests, I have no plans to meet Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. Maybe someday in the future. I'm sure he is an absolutely lovely man, says the president. Joining us right now to talk more about that is former ambassador to Cyprus and foreign and international economic policy analyst Richard Boucher. Great to see you, Richard. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.
What do you want to hear from the president this morning?
I want to hear him give a concrete basis for the optimism about North Korea. I want to hear what has he got, what has he heard from South Korean president that makes him really think that Kim Jong-un is moving towards denuclearization. More than one or two showpieces. Do we know the whole extent of their nuclear program and how they're going to dismantle it? And I want to hear something on Iran that's not just diatribe, that's not just we're going to go back to sanctions. We had sanctions for 40 years on Iran since 1979, never achieved anything. The only time we've had concrete poured on reactors or centrifuges destroyed was under the Iran agreement that we had.
Do you think anything's different today given the state of the Iran economy? I mean, General Jack Keane was here earlier talking about the currency plummeting, the economy, food lines, and that if they don't change their behavior, we'll probably see more sanctions. John Bolton told me just that on Sunday.
Yeah, and more sanctions have never worked before. The economy in Iran's gone up and down, usually with the price of oil. So I wouldn't expect them to crumble because of unilateral U.S. sanctions. The pressure of multilateral sanctions, when we teamed up with our allies and put pressure on Iran for something specific, that's when they started to deal. Going back to U.S. only is just U.S. alone.
I want to turn back to North Korea. It's a very difficult line for the president to thread today on this, isn't it? In that he prevented Secretary of State Pompeo from going over there on the last visit because of lack of progress, but he doesn't want to say to the United Nations there's been a lack of progress. He wants to say things are going well. So how does he do that?
Well, I think he's got a feeling, at least, if not some concrete details from the South Korean president, that there is progress, that there is something that the South Koreans heard when they were meeting with Kim Jong-un that makes them think there's new things happening. We've heard talk of another test site being dismantled. Whether North Korea is ready to come forward with sort of the declaration of everything they've got, a methodical plan to get rid of it, that we don't know. But there may be enough basis to continue the discussions.
Ambassador, it sounds like the president is moving towards a second summit with Kim in North Korea. Is that a good thing if there's a second summit? And what would you expect to come from something like that?
Yeah, unlike many of my former colleagues, I actually think it's a good thing. I've seen the North Koreans up close and personal. When I went out, I was part of the Madeleine Albright team that went out and dealt with Kim Jong-il, the father of the current leader. It's a regime that only makes decisions at the very highest levels. And you can't sort of build up to it and then get the guy to go. You've got to watch.
How would you characterize the president's policy on foreign affairs?
It's definitely America first. It's usually talking at the world and not with the world. It's never gathering allies and addressing a problem. I think America first is turning out to be America alone.